Alright, so I'm going to start out by moisturizing my face, and I'm going to be using this Pixi by Petra Hydrating Milky Mist. Basically just a moisturizer in a spray mist bottle, so it's really light and refreshing. I'm telling you guys, I should not talk while I'm doing that. Pixi is killing it with the skin products. I love it. Gonna go into the foundation, and I'm using, as you guys probably guessed, the Kat Von D Lock It Foundation. I got this a few days ago. I actually got a sample of it, used the sample once, and then I was like, okay, I'm doing this, let's do it. So then I bought the full size. I just fell in love instantly. I mean, I've only had it for a few days, but it's probably honestly one of my top 3 favorite foundations that I've ever tried. So this is what it looks like. The packaging is really cute. So I'm in the shade Light 45, which, as you guys might tell when I'm applying this, it is just a smidge too dark, but it's nothing that I can't fix with like a lighter concealer and powder and stuff like that. So I opted for this one because it's the lightest yellow undertoned foundation that they have in the line. There are 2 lighter shades. They're more like pinky beigey undertoned, and that would just look way worse on my skin tone. So that's why I went for the lightest yellow undertone that they have. So I'm just gonna apply this like I always apply foundation. Just dot it around some areas. I just start out with about that much, and I just start out on one area, blend everything out, and then move on to the rest of my face. And I like to use this Real Techniques sponge for this. So I'm still using the sample of this. They hooked me up at Sephora. They gave me a ton, but if you turn it upside down, it won't come out. It's so thick, so that just gives you an idea of what the consistency is like. But if you use a sponge, like a beauty blender or this, it will really shear out the coverage and it'll make it a lot less cakey. So that's why I opt for this rather than a brush. I don't like a super thick feeling foundation, and even though this is super full coverage, it really doesn't feel thick if you use it with a sponge. So I'm just applying it underneath my eye just to show you guys how much it really brightens up that area. Usually I'll leave this pretty bare of foundation because I like to go in with concealer and I don't like it to be too cakey with product right there, but it makes a huge difference between this under eye and this under eye, like how well it covers the bags and any discoloration that you might have going on under there. You guys probably noticed that I had some redness and zits going on my chin like I always do, but with one layer that I just applied, it covered it pretty well, but I typically like to go in with just one more light layer. One thing I will say is that it tends to settle in my fine lines, particularly my laugh lines that are right here. I just feel like with any full coverage foundation that I try, that always happens, so it's not like this is the only foundation that does that to me. I just am very expressive throughout the day, I guess, and my foundation tends to crease right here. Always! Why do I do that? Let's just hide that. Alright. So I just like to make sure that I don't apply too much in this area, even though I do have some spots that I do like to cover up. So I'll just apply like 2 or 3 little dots and then blend it out. And then if I have any redness left over, like around my nostrils, I'll just conceal that with concealer later. I barely have any foundation over these lines right here, and that will help with foundation not creasing there later. I also do have dry skin in some areas. My skin is, I would say, normal to dry. It used to be extremely dry, but now it's just kind of dry sometimes. But one of my problem areas is my nose. And as I'm applying it, it really doesn't cling to any dry patches or anything like that. Like with a lot of foundations, I'll notice that it will accentuate some dryness around the top of my nose right here, and it doesn't do that at all. Something else that I've noticed about this that I really like is that it doesn't dry really quickly, so you do get quite a bit of time to work with it and blend it out, which is nice because I feel like with a lot of full coverage, heavy duty foundations, they dry really quickly and it's hard to blend them out. And then since this is a little bit darker, like I said, I just like to take whatever's left over on my sponge and kind of blend it over the parts of my ears that might be showing. Okay, so this is what one layer of this foundation looks like on, with the exception of a tiny second layer on my chin area. It covers extremely well. There are still like 2 or 3 spots that I'll have to go in with concealer, like this guy right here I might have to, and then this one, but for the most part it is very full coverage and I love that. So I'm just going to move on to concealer, and I'm going to take my MAC Pro Longwear in NC15. Just going to pump out about that much, and I'm just going to use this to apply underneath my eyes and kind of add some lighter color back into my face. This is going to add dimension and make the foundation not look so dark on me. So I'm just going to blend this out until there's no like harsh lines that clearly show a difference between the concealer and the foundation. So I'm just going to blend this into the foundation as much as I can. And then I'm just going to spot conceal those spots that still need a little help. Before I move on to powder, I'm actually going to cream contour just a little bit, which is weird. It's something I never do, I know. But I just got the Anastasia Fair Cream Contour Kit. I've been wanting this for a long time just to play around with it and experiment with it since I don't really do this too often. I just thought it would be cool to try to learn something new. And I'm just going to take this fawn color down here. And I know a lot of people use this underneath their foundation, and then a lot of people use it on top of their foundation. I'm still trying to figure out how I like it best. If you want an in-depth video on this product, on this kit, let me know and I'll play around with it a little bit more until I get a really good hang of it, and I will do that for you guys. Okay, so moving on to setting powder, I'm gonna use, I know this looks sketchy, but it's the RCMA No Color Powder. My brother's girlfriend bought this and she got the huge one, so she gave me some, which was super nice. And I'm just gonna set the concealer in the areas that crease a lot. So as you can see, it's already starting to crease a little bit, like right here. Just gonna cake it with powder and it should be fine. So I tried this for the first time about 3 weeks ago, and I wasn't really like super impressed by it, but I've kept trying it in different ways and I've found that I just really like it now. So I get the hype, I get it now. And then I'm also gonna put some up here on the center of my forehead. I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but it's settling into these wrinkles that I'm starting to get up here on my forehead. So if I apply some powder over it, it's not as noticeable. I have been talking a lot throughout this video though, so the foundation had more time to settle into these areas. Like usually I'm not obviously talking while I'm doing my foundation, so it doesn't have that much time to settle into these lines. I'm just gonna lightly set that cream contour with the powder contour. I got a new NYX taupe and it looks so nice. It was the last one at Ulta and I snatched it as quick as I possibly could. And I'm just using a Smith 112 brush and I'm just taking the tiniest amount and just blending this over that cream contour. For a highlight, I'm going to take my Essence eyeshadow in Snowflake. I use this in my drugstore foundation routine, definitely becoming a quick highlight favorite. And then for blush, I'll be using this Sigma blush. It's called Heavenly. And just applying it lightly to the apples of my cheeks and blending it back. I'm just going to speed through my brows real quick. I decided to pick up the Anastasia Brow Definer a couple days ago and I love it. I've been wearing it the past few days, so if you guys want me to do a new eyebrow routine video, let me know and I'll do that for sure. Alright, so my face and brows are done. I'm just going to show you guys really quick my quickest, fastest, easiest eyeshadow tutorial ever. This is what I was wearing in one of my last photos, and a few of you guys asked for a tutorial, but it's really like the most simple thing ever, so I'm just going to speed through it real quick. I'm actually just going to be using my contour kit, the Powder Original by Anastasia, and I'm taking a mix of these two guys, the yellow and the pink toned, and just brushing this really quickly over my lid. Grabbing a big blending brush, I'm going to take this middle shade Fawn, and just sweep this into my crease. I'm also taking just a tiny bit of that and applying it to the outer half of my lower lash line. And then going into this shimmery highlight shade with my pinky and just placing this really quickly in the inner corners of my eyes. And then I just added some mascara really quick, and that is it for the eyes. Sorry if you guys were expecting something more exciting, it's literally the most boring eye makeup ever. So I just wanted to do a quick close-up to show you guys what the foundation looks like when everything else is on my face. I forgot to mention earlier that I did not wear a primer with this. I have tried it with a primer and without. For me, I don't notice a difference using the primer with this foundation. All in all, I'm just really in love with this foundation. I think it has a great coverage. It makes my skin look really nice and even and smooth. And I think the best part about this foundation, in my opinion, is that it lasts forever. It's crazy. The first day that I tried this, I applied it at 10:30 a.m. and I kept checking in the mirror like throughout the day. Doesn't oxidize, doesn't do anything like that. It only started to fade a little bit on my chin, but it always, like foundation no matter what, fades on my chin first. But it wasn't anything super noticeable, and by the time that I took my makeup off at like 10:30 p.m., it looked like I had almost just freshly applied it. Like, it was crazy. The only downside to this foundation, like I said earlier when I was applying it, is that it does tend to crease and sink into these lines a little bit, but it's nothing super noticeable, and I'm not going to not wear it because of that. Like, it's just a little downside. So yeah, definitely one of my top favorite foundations that I've ever tried. And thank you to those of you, I know a lot of you guys have told me to try this foundation out because I'm always on the hunt for good foundations for pale skin, and this is definitely one of those. Alright you guys, so that's it. Thanks for watching, and thanks to those of you who suggested to me that I should try this. I love you, you're the best. And let me know what you want to see me do next, whether it's a tutorial, a foundation, review on another type of foundation. By the way, I have like 3 other new foundations that I got from the drugstore that I'm really liking. So let me know if you want me to do reviews on other foundations. I've had really bad timing recently because a few weeks ago in my Get Ready With Me video I mentioned that I wanted to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday uploads, and that worked out for about 2 weeks, and then my body was like, hey, screw you, let's get sick. So that's what I've been dealing with. I've had quite a few doctor's appointments over the last 2 weeks. I just feel like I haven't had the time or been able to do videos, which really sucks because I really want to get on that scheduled upload. So anyways, just wanted to throw that out there, but definitely leave me comments. Let me know what you want to see next, and I will make a little list and get thinking of things to do when I'm back to normal. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!